The following is an exclusive production of Minuteman Command. The Flagship Pod with your hosts, ESPN personalities Mike Corey and Rene Ingoglia is on the air. Brought to you by Todd Fritz Roofing with insight and info from UMass and Mac Insiders. From the Command Studios, here are your hosts, Mike and Rene.
Hey, welcome to the show. Boy, it's October, Rene. It's October 1st. Can you believe it?
And that's crazy. I've called 7 college football games already. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. It's going so fast.
Well, and we'll get right into it because you were doing the UMass game on Saturday night. A really nice job as always, man. You know, I love working with you. And then, you know, being able to watch you. I watched the entire first half, a bunch of the second half, not as much. But let's just go with you because you were there. I want to hear boots on the ground, what it was like for you, talking to the coaches. You met up with some donors. You saw Ryan Bamford out there in Missouri. What was the deal?
Yeah, it was a great week. I got a lot done. So first we'll start, met with the coaches in a normal production meeting. They were great. Joe, Coach Jake, and Coach Kite, really good. We're not going to go through everything. Everybody knows it's watching this pod. Decimated with injuries. Their depth is depleted. I think, some guys they probably thought were going to play better, maybe through the portal haven't. But so they were really good. And I will tell you this, Coach Harris-Simiak, he's the right guy for the job. This is me saying this. This isn't him. I just believe he knew taking over the job, it was going to be a tough job, right? I think anyone that would take this job knows. He's the 5th coach since they've transitioned to the FBS in 2012. So we've chronicled it well. And none of any coach that took this job, all the previous issues that the programs had and all the kind of the dysfunction, that's nothing to do with the new coach. It certainly has nothing to do with Joe Harris-Simiak and the staff he's put together here. So none of that's his. He knew what he was coming into. I just think when you actually get in it and you're in it, you're like, okay, it's a little tougher than I probably thought. Again, that's me saying this, not Joe. But they were great in the meetings. And then, Joe and I had a private conversation for a while, just me and him, which I thought was great. And listen, they're pushing forward. We know where they're at. Let's get into the game, okay? Going to come off as a homer. I don't care. 42-6. Okay, they got their asses kicked. Okay, we know that. And I didn't even look at the AP poll, so I don't know what Missouri went up to. Missouri is a legit top 15 team in the country and top half of the SEC. That team is loaded with talent. They've had back-to-back 10-win seasons. They're going to get a 10-win season again here. It's going to be third in a row, first time in the history of Mizzou football.
They moved up one. They're 19.
19. Homecoming game, sold-out crowd, 60-plus thousand. I thought that was the hardest the team has played all year against the toughest competition, okay? We talked about the defense, right? The defensive front. They had 4 sacks total coming in 3 losses, okay? And one of those games is against FCS Bryant. 4 sacks total. They had 4 against Missouri in that game, and I want to say 3 came against the starting offense, okay, including a big play at the end of the half. So played harder than ever. Offensively, the numbers were atrocious offensively. Again, playing against a good team. And there's no moral victories in Division I football. 0 moral victories, okay? But I do think they played hard, which is one. What was my criteria a couple weeks ago, Mike, when they were going to play Iowa and Missouri? I said, play hard, have heart, don't give up, try to win, and stay healthy. I think they got healthy out of that game. I didn't see anyone. I don't remember anyone getting hurt. There were some guys banged up, which is football, but then came back in the game. What they showed, again, 42-6. I get it, guys. They got their asses kicked, okay? But what they showed me, especially defensively, is they can win games in the MAC. Now they just have to go out and do it because now it's a 0-0 schedule. And it's crazy to say this, but essentially every goal this team had, in the beginning of the season when they were 0-0, now that they're 0-4, all those goals are still in front of them. So it's crazy to think that, right? Because technically you can still win the MAC championship. You can still go to a bowl game. I mean, there's a lot of things that are still ahead of them. Am I saying that's going to happen? No. But I'm saying there's a chance. And so let's see.
Yeah.
Let's get into quarterback. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. All three quarterbacks are worthy of starting games and can win games in the MAC. They have three quarterbacks that can all start. There's not one clear cut, and then you got a decent backup. All three of them can play. AJ Harrison's numbers obviously weren't good. They all have different talent too. AJ Harrison can flat out throw the football. He can spin it. He's a young kid. Courtney asked me, do I think he's going to be the starter? And I said, you know what? It's an interesting question. I'm glad Joe Harris-Simiak is not named in question because you got to put that pressure on Western Michigan, to prepare for multiple quarterbacks. They're all different. So we'll see who he goes with. Grant Jordan came in, made some good plays. Of course, he's a very dual threat. Brandon Rose was healthy enough to go if it was an emergency, but I'm glad, why put him in there? But he's going to be full strength next week. So fascinating. Listen, I've been hard on the offensive line. Again, the numbers don't show it, but me watching the game in person, being there in the environment, they had some good first down productivity. They moved the line of scrimmage a couple times. So again, maybe a play here, a play there. I get it. It's not a full set, and maybe it wasn't a full drive, but it showed me what they can do, Mike. And then let me give the defensive shout outs before I turn it back over to you, and then you can throw any questions at me you have. Timmy Heinz-Peter, okay, 17 tackles, 11 in the first half, interception, 63-yard return, which set up the touchdown, 2 TFLs and a sack. Outstanding game. Love that. The linebackers are the one position. It's funny. It's the one position where from the start, I just thought they were a little slow, didn't play great, but they were healthy. It's the one position they were healthy, and they're getting better each and every week. Darian Craig plays the star, secondary, but up. Also, one of our captains and leaders who had a shoulder issue, 11 total tackles, a half sack, half TFL. You need Darian Craig to play well in the MAC, but he had a great game. Tyler Martin, 8 total tackles.
Yeah.
John Henry, the other linebacker, 8 total tackles in the TFL. Linebackers, keep doing what you're doing and go wreak havoc in the MAC. You have to do that. Marcus White. Coaches told me, watch out for Marcus White, defensive lineman, defensive end. Where's number 16? They said he's the one constant on that D-line. It's been playing hard and getting better each and every week. Well, 7 tackles, a sack, and a TFL. So there's some other guys. I know I'm going to miss some other guys. I thought the defensive line, defensive front, again, it's funny saying it in a game you gave up 42 points, but I thought they played really well at times. And listen, Ahmad Henry. Why am I blanking?
From Missouri.
Why am I having a brain fart?
I got it. Hold on. I know who you're talking about. He's good.
I say Henry, I'm losing it. Ahmad Hardy is one of the best running backs in the nation, and that offensive line is really good. 130 yards, 3 touchdowns. 3 full quarters. But he's a really good running back, and it was a really good team. So I come out of there saying there's a lot of positive things that encouraged me going into this MAC schedule here. Clean slate, 0-0 with Western Michigan coming to town next week.
Well, what you said initially at the beginning is true, and it's very important because it's hard, right? If you're 0-4, think about it. You're like, hey, how do I get these guys motivated? No, it's exactly what you just said. All the goals are still in play and on the table, which is crazy to think that because now we got a conference, right? Now you're in a conference, now you're in the league. See everybody how this changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
See, we were independent. What the hell are you going to play for at this point, right? You probably have some tougher games on the schedule. There's no way you could even envision getting the 6 wins. Look, I get it. It's still going to be very tough. I'm not saying that that's going to happen either, but there is a lot of goals still at stake, and you could still resurrect the season. That's huge to be able to tell an 0-4 team that.
And just getting to the makeup of the team, we always talk about culture, right? I've talked about there's a portal culture, regular culture is different, and then you have the identity of a team, right? You're always searching for identity. And I don't know if Joe Harris-Simiak said this publicly, but something he told us, and I don't think he has a problem with me sharing it, so I'm going to share it. Last week, prepping for this game, he said Tuesday was the worst practice they had all year.
Yeah, you guys said it on the air, yeah.
Just horrible. Oh, that's right, we did. Just horrible. Yeah. But he said they came back Wednesday and had the best practice of the year. And he said what happened in Tuesday is a lot of guys were already like, oh, it's Missouri, it's SEC, we don't have a chance. And they were talking about, hey, let's reset when we get to the MAC schedule, which we've said, but you still had Missouri to play. So he did not like that attitude. So he basically threw him out of practice type stuff and just said, no, we're preparing to go to Missouri and win. Because why? And then we said it. Why the hell else are we doing this? So I like that they were able to reset. He also said, he's done, not that he was giving them any leeway, but you always hear me say, do the little things right.
Yeah.
The little things right will develop you in life. Forget just football, in life, of doing things right. And he said, just he goes a little thing dress on the plane, on the trip. It was white shoes. Well, obviously someone didn't wear white shoes, and he had a freaking, get at someone's ass and take care of that. That's a little thing. Just do what your coaches tell you, okay? And so he's getting after. He told me he had a couple guys that were late for some stuff. Automatically playing time down. You're not starting. He's done with it too. And he's learning this team too. Getting back to what he said about, and this goes to your point, Mike, playing the independent schedule. Now that we're in the MAC, now you have apples to compare, right? Yeah. And he said this in his press conference, I believe. They went through every MAC school, and let's look at how did they recruit? What was their portal like? And we are a 180 opposite, okay, of all the other MAC schools. It's not exact numbers, but because of the dysfunction that we've had, right, with 5 coaches in the last 13 years, whatever it is, we've been each year around 20 plus portal players, right? Yeah. And 8 to 10 high school recruits, okay? And that is exact opposite of what all the MAC schools are doing. They're about 20, 21, 22 high school, and then 8 to 10 portal filling in the gaps. And so going forward for this next season that they're already working on recruiting hard, that's what we're going to see. And I brought up the point Jaquan Gibby, right? Really good, probably arguably Anthony T.Y. Harding's out. Best receiver on the team, right? Well, he's been in the program 3 years, and he's developed and gotten better every year. Darren Craig, same way, in the program developing, right? You need 20, 25, 30 of those guys in your program spread out at different positions. That's where you have that foundation, that base, that culture. And then you sprinkle in 10 or 12 portal guys, right, to go with it. And that's what, Miami, Ohio, Toledo, that's what they do. Now, you sit here and say, oh, yeah, do that. It's still hard, right? Because you still got to recruit. You got to get kids in from high school. You got to keep, the good players on your team. We always talk about roster retention. The good players on your roster this year, you got to work like hell to retain them. Yeah. But I say that because there's a good, solid plan going forward, okay?
Well, and you got to win. I know what you're saying. When you come in and you want to take over a place and you want to step up, that's where you feel like, okay, cool. Now I can do that with the portal, right? If we had ever made this transition, from FCS to FBS back in the day, right? Now it's different. But it would take 3 or 4 or 5 years, right? Till you get your guys in, all that. Now, because of that, people think, oh, no, it shouldn't. So you're right. You go heavy portal thinking all right, we're just going to build this team. Doesn't always work out that way, but I'm with you. If you went the other way with 20 high school kids, that could be a little tough too. So look, and I hate bringing this up because I know you've heard me mention this a few times with a Casey Keeler, right? Who's at Temple. Yeah. When they were at Delaware, and I get it, it's a totally different time. FCS, he got a little bit of slack for taking a bunch of transfers from 1A back in the day because he would always have 5 or 6, kind of guys, whatever. But it's they recruited such good high school players too that when you brought in a couple of those dudes, it completely energized. It just jolted the team because they Joe Flacco right away.
Where was Flacco? Was he somewhere? He was somewhere else.
Was in Pittsburgh. Yeah, he was.
And Devlin was another quarterback.
Yeah, Devlin was at Penn State, right? So you always got these big time school players that weren't playing there. That when they dropped down, they could play right away. Now Flacco didn't get let out of his scholarship for some stupid reason. So 05, he actually redshirted. 06, they were 6-6, and then 07, they went and played for a national championship.
Well, that's when the NCAA had teeth, and you had to follow their rules. Now it's
right. Well, Pat Devlin, same thing from Penn State, 2010, they went and played for a national championship. So it's okay, I see how that worked, but there was a year too where he didn't recruit good enough high school talent. He came right out and said it. So it's kind of the thing that happens here. You're trying to build a team. You're building a program. You want to win, though, because you can't go into this season with the new coach say, oh, well, we're just trying to build it. We're 0-12. No, but I'm with you. It's got to get flipped a little bit, to your point.
And a couple things on the comments you just made. Someone asked me about fan base engagement, and the couple things I told them was at the end of the day, you just have to win. There's no excuses. The fans can feel any way they want to, and they deserve to feel any way they want to for what they've been through since this transition. So we've talked about that a ton. So, and I also said it's a good thing when the fans, you open social media and the fans are there mad about stuff, because and I've said this before, when you open social media and it's crickets, then you've lost your fan base, then you're done. So I would rather them be animate and passionate and mad than nothing. Okay. Getting back to like the transition, and it's funny, and I hate looking back, but since we brought it up, there was 2 windows, in my opinion, where the powers to be screwed up. Is after I played in the mid-90s, and then they won the national championship in 98. So late 90s, let's say, would have been a perfect time to transition to FBS. I get it. No one was doing it back then, but that's why you have to have the forethought, right? Basketball was a power. Your football was a power in FCS. You could have transitioned in to probably the Big East was around back then, right? I don't think the A-10 people would have complained if UMass went to Big East basketball. But, that's just me throwing it out there. But that was a window where I think they could have gone for it, which they never did. And then in the early 2000s, when they went under Donnie Brown, when they went to the national championship, was another window that they passed up on. I say that because the window where they ultimately did go to FBS in 2012, the program at the FCS level wasn't really good.
Right. No,
we went at a time where UMass football wasn't great at FCS, right, which is crazy because we were so good at so many other times. And so that's played into the issue of the dysfunction over the last 13 years too.
Perfect storm. And obviously we all know it was mismanaged from the start going in FBS. It's all in the past. I just want to give a quick comment on the game, what I saw, and get your thoughts on that. We can move past this one. But the first half, right? I mean, like you said, Heinz Peter, wow. What a great play on the interception. I was like, come on, get in there. And then when he got tackled, I'm thinking like, oh, great. I hope they can score. And they did. And that was an incredible call at the goal line. I loved it. I told you about it too. It's like, now listen, I know you're a former running back. You're a power, you're a bruiser. You guys are just pounded in there. Look, don't have maybe some of the skill guys to do that. And that's what everybody's thinking is going to happen. So I love that call. It's like fake the running back, boom, tight end, touchdown. I mean, awesome call, by the entire staff. Got a TD. Please hit the extra point. Jesus, you know what I mean? What the heck there, right? Okay, whatever. But 21-6 at half. We said it. Not horrible. Okay, at Missouri, they made the sack at the end of the half. What's that say? Hey, you didn't just say, oh, whatever, he's going to throw a Hail Mary, big deal. No, they got to the quarterback and they sacked him. He didn't even get it off. Great job. Harris Simiak was fired up. We saw it. You talked about it. It was great. So, that's some of the things you want to see. And he said it on Monday at the press conference. He's like, yeah, I got to see this every game. This isn't like, oh, great, we played hard today. No, we should be playing hard every game. So I get it. I'm super concerned, man, about the punt return coverage, punt return defense, and also the kickoff coverage.
The coverage team on punts.
The coverage team on the kickoff coverage. Like, oh, my God, we can't keep having them start at the 45. You can't have a great punt and give up another 38 yards in the return. I'm not sure what's going on there. We like Castellino, right? I mean, we know.
Well, I know. So
he's blocked the kick, a week ago that got us the only touchdown. So I'm not going to say, but what's going on there, dude?
So let me jump in there. So in the meeting, and this isn't an excuse, this is just what's going on. Because they have so many injuries, normally some of your better defensive players, and particularly defensive backs, they're the athletes, good tackling. They're going to run down on your kickoffs. Ton of new people. If you're a starter on defense, for the most part, they pulled them out of special teams because they can't afford them getting hurt on special teams. So you got a lot of young players on there. And listen, you got to rep it. You got to get good. It's an attitude special team. So they're just going to have to figure it out. But I'm with you. It's scary, especially when he punts, when he turns them over and he punts like that 55-yarder in the air. The returner's going to catch it, and he's going to have 15 yards to work with.
Yeah,
and they got another nice return on the punt.
I know.
So
I understand player management, exactly what you just said. The same with the coaches, and I'm not telling them, "Oh, what are you doing?" But dude, isn't giving up a 45-yard return or a 38-yard? Isn't that kind of bad too? Like, look, if you try to not get hurt, like you said, you might get like.
It's pick your poison type thing.
I know he's trying to manage how much everybody's. And I understand it just sucks because you're not helping out your kicker and you're giving up great field position every single time, and the defense has struggled. Now I'm going to give Missouri way more credit than I'm going to say, oh, UMass was terrible. Their offensive line, like you talked about, and their running back, incredible. I mean, they're outstanding. They're a top 20 team. They're going to be challenging. Who knows? They might even get to the playoff. I mean, who knows? Their holes that they opened up, I could have run through there. Every time they ran the ball, it was like, oh my gosh, 12-yard run, 8-yard. I mean, it was like, you kidding me? Like, so I'm going to give them more credit than in terms of our defense. But yeah, the linebackers played great. Heinz Peter, a bright spot. Let's see what happens. But then the second half, right? 21 points. You see the final score, you're like, nah. But first half wasn't bad.
They were going to put the hammer down in the third quarter. And again, let me just so no one clips something and takes out of context. UMass got their ass. I mean, you lost 42-6.
I'm not saying they didn't.
We're not sugarcoating. I don't want everyone to say, oh, these guys are happy with that. We're not.
No, I know.
But the season's been so miserable that you try to find positivity. And there was a couple things. You mentioned it. Right before half, defense gets a really good stop, gets the ball back to their offense with like 1:45 left. Offense kind of poops down their leg, doesn't incomplete passes. I mean, doesn't do anything. Has to punt it back. And now I'm like, oh my God, Missouri's getting the ball back with, a minute and whatever it was, minute 10 or something. I'm like, here we go. But defense, and that's almost like a sudden change. I mean, the defense is only off the field for 4 plays, comes back on, and I think that might have been when they had a decent punt return too. Comes back on and keeps Missouri from scoring at the end there, and actually gets a sack last play of the half, prevents the Hail Mary throw, and that's where Joe Harrison showed emotion, which I love. So that showed me like that the defense has heart and character, right? And then at the end of the game, I know the reserves were in for Missouri, but those kids want to play hard and they want to go down, they want to score. I know I called the game, I should know this, but I'm pretty sure they did. They kept them scoreless in the fourth quarter. They might have scored one of their 3 touchdowns like the very start of the fourth quarter with their starters.
Yeah, they got 1. They got 7 in the fourth quarter.
But it was like with 14:41 left or something.
Yeah. No, I hear
that's essentially the third quarter. So
then they
did not let the backups go down and score it all, which I thought was good. And so you always look for the silver lining, and we're going to do that. Now, let's transition, Mike, because now you're 0-0. You have Western Michigan coming. Is it homecoming, by the way? I should know that. Is it?
Homecoming, Western Michigan. Why do we not know that? Yeah. Let's see.
I should probably have it written down somewhere. It doesn't matter. It's a home game. Mike's looking it up. I'll talk.
Yeah.
Your Western Michigan coming to town. They are improved, by the way. They played Rhode Island this week. They beat them pretty good. And obviously, Rhode Island's a nationally ranked FCS team. So, Western Michigan is definitely improved. In case you don't know, people don't know watching this.
It's homecoming. It's homecoming.
I thought so. Homecoming game. So you got a lot to play for, obviously. First game of the MAC. And Walt Bell, their offensive coordinator, was one of those previous 5 coaches that was a head coach. So, he's probably got a little chip on his shoulder too. So I am excited for this one. Let's flush the 4. Okay, let's flush it. We've chronicled it. Now let's go on to the next 8 games. It's 0-0. Let's see what they do. And
you got to see something this week, especially offensively, because I'm going to reserve judgment really fully until this week. Because let's think about it. Obviously, they haven't been able to move the football.
Nope.
But let's look at it. You played Iowa and Missouri. Okay, I'm just being honest. They got the block kick, which led to the very short touchdown in the Iowa game. And thank God they got the interception all the way down inside the 10 or whatever, too, that led to that touchdown. So outside of that, they kind of would have been blanked. You know what I mean? So, I got to see something here in this Western Michigan. I got to see, a sustained drive, multiple first downs, something, because that's scary, right? If you're not even going to be able to – and then you're going to give up the field position that you give up. So you give up a short field for your defense, so then you can't move the ball, and then you punt it deep. but they run it back 40 yards. So it's like you can't play 50-yard football. You know what I mean? So it's a little tough.
And this week, right? I mean, okay, yeah, Iowa, Missouri, you try to win those games.
Right.
You're obviously outgunned, outmatched by 2 Power 4 teams, 2 good Power 4 teams. Not they're, bottom of the barrel. I mean, these were very good teams. I know Iowa's not ranked, but very good. And then Missouri's ranked. Now you're in conference play. So it's time to go. And Joe doesn't make excuses, but it doesn't matter who's hurt, who's out for the year. It's time to go suit up who you got and go get after it. And again, your goals are ahead of you. I'm sure that has been told to the kids. The kids know, they know. So they can take a next step, a very big step here with a good performance Saturday at home against Western Michigan.
And I don't want to say, because everybody wants this right now, like we all do. Yeah. I'm just saying down the road, like, now that you're in this league and you get to know these teams, like it's only going to help because now these coaches, right, will get to know all the other coaches. They'll get to know like what teams do. They'll get to know their tendencies. You can always get tape, but like you'll start to become really familiar. And then, you might be able to get a player too. You might be able to figure something out and you notice how certain teams do what they do. That's the beauty of being in a league and having consistent teams you play year after year. So kind of excited to see the beginning part of this, but it's only going to get better. I know, down the road. What else did you get anything else from like when you talked to Ryan or because when he talked about like kind of accelerating the process here and laying out the plan, that you could repeat? Did they say anything? He say anything like that? The fans here.
I mean, nothing was said that he hasn't said publicly. Okay. And I know there's probably going to be people yelling at this podcast. Did you tell him this? Did you tell him that? Listen, me and Ryan had a really good conversation. I saw him a couple different times. So there's only one way to go up. They all know that. I'm not going to get into the stadium and the money. What was said publicly was said publicly. And now we just have to move forward with this program. And again, wins will cure a lot of things. And I'm excited, Mike, because I have a Friday night game this week. I got Charlotte, program that's struggling too, at USF, who's not struggling, Friday night on ESPNU. So I'll be home on my couch, being able to watch UMass game live, which I'm excited about. So.
Yeah, I was able to do that this week. I don't do a game every week nowadays anymore with football. So I think I got a couple coming up in the next week or so. And then you and I are actually doing a game together, which is great, on October 24th. It's Charlotte again, hosting North Texas. So
I'll know Charlotte as well as I know UMass. So
yeah, well, that's where one of our headquarters is for ESPN. So
you talk in North Texas in that game, they're 5-0. I mean, they're humming in the American. It's a team to watch out for in the group of 5, 6, whatever you want to call it.
They won this past week as well. Hey, I got to do a little more research on this, talk to some more people so I don't speak out of turn. But I called you up in the middle of the week with this idea that I had. That's probably nobody else has had this idea.
And you know what? And I apologize. I didn't get into that with anybody that actually knows. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I wanted to just throw it out there, see if anybody hears this and say, oh, yeah, and then I'm going to go talk to some of the people behind the scenes, Jason Burmant, the GM, all these people, and just say, hey, is this even something that you can do or that is being done? You always recruit guys back in the day that they're coming to your school for 4 years, and maybe 5 if they redshirt, right? So what's to say you can't go after these really good players and try to sign them up on a 4-year contract? And I'm just making up numbers here. Really good player. Hey, $100,000 for year 1. Now there's some incentives and stipulations and stuff for year 2. Not all individual, because then all they'll do is try to get numbers for themselves and not play team football. But hey, $200,000 in year 2, $300,000 in year 3, $400,000 in year 4. I'm just saying this, right?
You're just making numbers up.
Right.
Correct.
Now somebody plays great after year 1 or and some team comes in and is like, yeah, $500,000. Okay. Now you got a little bit of options here. Hey, are you going to go to that other team for $500,000, not know what's going to happen? You may or may not play. You might just be a backup. Your stock goes down. Nobody watches you as much anymore. And then you're done. Or you're going to stick with us where we're giving you 2, 3, and then 4. You make $900,000. You're playing here. You got a school. You got something to hang on to. We're going to get you ready for the next level. That's our goal for everybody. So now you at least got some, room there. Because like before, it'd just be like, all right, you're out of here. And if that guy wants to go there or the other school gives him 700 or something, fine. the other school's got to pay the rest of his 3-year contract.
Yeah.
To us, to the school, to UMass. So you want my guy for $700,000? You got to pay 2, 3, and 4. That was the remaining part of his deal. $900,000 to UMass. Then you can go pay him your $700,000 to be a backup. Now we got something for it. We can go out and get another player. And now we're teaching. Come here for 4 years. You'll love the program. You'll like our people. Here's what we're going to do for you, and you treat it just like we used to do it, as opposed to, hey, just come here and play well, and then we hope that you get a better deal somewhere else. Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't believe. Yeah, I can't speak out of turn because I don't know what the rules are and laws are.
I'm just trying to think of something.
I'm a good guy to ask that, but I'm assuming because I have heard of deals where they're tiered. And it depends on if you graduate or not. So there is different things. There is different things you can do. So
right? How about that? Hey, $100,000 bonus for graduating. How many coaches, right? And people get that. You win the conference, you go to the tournament, you get all these bonuses. I would love. Don't you think our donors would be psyched throwing money into the program for team goals too? By the way. You win the conference, everybody gets an extra $25,000. Just looking up numbers here.
There's no way there's no way these people haven't discussed or talked about this if it's allowed to do. I mean, we didn't just come. You didn't just come up with it. So
I'm not. I'm just saying, wouldn't that be great? Like a team goal. Your donors, everybody's behind this thing, and then everybody plays together because when we win, everybody wins, right? And then there's also personal stuff too. But I got to see buyouts and stuff so people can just jump in and grab our guys and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's got to be enough money for you to have that wherewithal and that wiggle room to go, okay, well, if you want the 5, because you know how many people did that, right, Rene? I'm talking football and basketball. You go somewhere else because you get more money, then you don't play because you're paid to be like a second or third stringer. And then now your stock goes down and you're not as good. And you can get to the NFL now. But you took the money. So I don't know. I just want to throw that out and see if that sticks. And now, like I said, I got to talk to some people because, but to me, that's how you kind of get
find out and report back next week. I
want to get around some of these, things that we got to deal with these days. But anyway, I want to mention that. No, I mean, I'm excited. This will be a little more apples to apples here. This game coming up. We haven't even really had that. We've had one, Temple. I get it, Brian. We'll talk about it. It's not even in the league. And then 2 power teams that you're not going to win. No offense.
An FCS game that you can't lose. So we really have not had a good performance this year.
No.
I mean, we haven't. So
we're going to see what happens here.
There's a lot riding on Saturday. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy it. Have a great week. Have a great call. We'll do this again next Wednesday.
See ya. Have a great week, everybody.
Everybody.